going within today. You're in my mind, I'ma be okay. A little love goes a long way. So I'm going within today. I'm going within today. You're in my mind, I'ma be okay. A little love goes a long way. So I'm going within today.
The version of you that finally chooses yourself is not selfish, it's overdue. Greetings, my beautiful inner workers. I want to start today with a question. Have you ever done something that was absolutely necessary for your well-being and still felt guilty afterward? Like you set a boundary, or maybe it was saying no. Maybe you've walked away from something, a situation. Maybe you stopped overextending yourself. You prioritized your peace. And instead of feeling liberated, you felt heavy. You tend to question yourself. You replayed the decision repeatedly over and over in your head, and you wondered whether you were being selfish. That feeling right there, that's what we're talking about today. You're listening to the Going Within podcast with me, your host, Sheena C. This is a space for self-awareness, healing, and learning to actually trust your own inner voice. Okay, so let's get into it. So, choosing yourself sounds empowering in theory. However, in practice, it can feel excruciating, especially if you are someone who were conditioned to equate love with sacrifice, or maybe worthiness with usefulness, or even belonging with self-abandonment. A lot of people tend to think that guilt appears because they're doing something wrong. But in reality, sometimes, guilt appears because you're doing something that's not wrong per se, but more so unfamiliar. Those are not the same thing, right? And I think that distinction matters because guilt has convinced many people to stay in environments that tend to exhaust them, to maintain relationships that deplete them, or even to overextend themselves until resentment quietly replaces compassion. Not necessarily because they wanted to, but because they believed that prioritizing themselves made them a bad person. So today we're unpacking all of that. We're unpacking the guilt. We're unpacking the conditioning, the emotional complexity of self-prioritization, and what it means to stop apologizing for protecting your energy. So most people don't wake up one day and decide, hey, I'm going to ignore my needs for the next 20 years. They don't do that. Self-abandonment, excuse me, usually develops, adaptively. It starts very subtle, and then maybe, you learn that being agreeable kept conflict or confrontation low. Maybe being helpful earned you affection, or maybe achievement earned you attention, or even emotional suppression, it earned you to feel more safe. So your nervous system made a calculation, okay? And that calculation is basically saying what I am naturally may not be enough. So let me become what is needed so that I could be accepted, right? And to be honest, that strategy probably worked. Okay, it worked for me. Absolutely. Until it didn't. Because eventually, your survival strategies become prisons. Yes, prisons. You become hyper attuned to everybody else's emotions. You know? You know exactly when someone is disappointed. You know, you anticipate the needs before people verbalize them. And then you tend to carry this emotional labor that was never assigned to you, really. And somewhere along the way, you stop consulting yourself entirely. You become very proficient in attending to everyone else while becoming estranged from your own needs. And that estrangement creates exhaustion. And eventually that grows into resentment. People simply cannot continuously betray themselves internally and remain a peaceful person externally. That doesn't work that way. At some point, your psyche tends to revolt. And that revolt often looks like, what we call boundaries. So the question is, why does guilt show up when you change? Well, guilt is something that's very fascinating because guilt isn't always about morality. Sometimes guilt is simply, conditioning with a very loud voice, and you just think about that for a second. It'll make sense. If your identity has been built around being available, accommodating, being a generous person, endlessly understanding, then suddenly changing those behaviors creates internal dissonance. Your mind starts to speak to you. It says, wait, this isn't who we are. Even when that change is healthy, the nervous system is something that loves familiarity, and even if the unfamiliarity is unhealthy. And that's why people often confuse discomfort with wrongdoing. But discomfort is not evidence that your boundary is incorrect. Sometimes discomfort is evidence that your identity is just simply expanding. You are renegotiating old contracts, so to speak. Those old contracts that said things like, I'll always be available, or you never want to disappoint anyone. You make yourself smaller. You avoid conflict at all costs. And you tend to prioritize harmony over honesty. And I personally can attest to that. I'm a Libra. And us Libras are known for that. We just like to make the people around us feel comfortable. But I say that was very unhealthy. I still struggle with that today because I'm just generally a nice person. I don't want to say nice anymore. I would say more so kind. And that's still something that I'm working on because I overgive, I overextend. Now, don't get me wrong. The people who deserve it in my life, I try to be there for them as much as possible, especially people who also pour into me. I tend to want to, extend that same sentiment back, not immediately, but where I see that it may be needed and appreciated. Absolutely. But that's also a lesson that I had to learn for myself. And that's what I'm speaking to you about today. Because I know there are people who are like this out there who are listening. So when you getting back to the on track here, but when you violate, those kind of contracts that you have, you tend to feel guilty. I know I did. And it's not because you failed or anything, but it's because your system is just simply recalibrating itself. Okay? So let's define something clearly. Selfishness is something that says, like, my needs matter and yours never do, right? We can all agree that that's what selfishness, can't speak today, selfishness entails. So self-preservation says, my needs matter too. Those are radically different philosophies. Okay? Yet, what happens is so many people collapse them together, and especially people who were, rewarded for being an overgiver, right? Because when your value has historically been attached to sacrifice, balance tend to feel selfish. Reciprocity feels selfish. Rest feels selfish. Boundaries feel selfish. And that's a very dangerous thing for you, for your energy, for your inner being. Because exhausted people begin making decisions from depletion. That's a fact. And then depletion, in turn, distorts the judgment. You become irritable, emotionally unavailable, burnt out, right? Then you feel guilty for that too. It becomes, very cyclical. It's a never ending story. Now, choosing yourself tends to interrupt that cycle. And it's not because it eliminates care for others per se, but because it tends to introduce care for yourself into the equation for the first time ever, or for the first time in a long time. And here's something that's very uncomfortable. Not everybody benefits from your healing. Okay? Some people benefited from your lack of boundaries, your constant availability, your inability to say no, your fear of disappointing them. And when you change, the relationship changes because you're no longer beneficial to them and their needs. So now, because you said no, that now becomes, oh, excuse me, like, you used to do this all the time. Now, you know, and it doesn't automatically make people malicious, but it does reveal the dynamics of the relationship. Sometimes people interpret your boundaries as a rejection. They look at your growth as distance and your self-respect as selflessness. Selfishness, I mean. And if you're not careful, their discomfort becomes your guilt. But other people's disappointment cannot always be your compass. That's facts. Because sometimes disappointment just simply mean, access is denied. Access has changed. And access should change when you change. And that's a healthy thing. Okay? Stop feeling guilty for limiting access to you. For limiting access. Sacrificing your peace. So, here's a difficult adulthood lesson, right? Someone can dislike your boundary, and your boundary can still be necessary. Okay? You are allowed to disappoint people. Okay? Not carelessly, of course, not cruelly, but inevitably. Because living authentically guarantees misalignment somewhere. Am I wrong? Being brutally honest sometimes can rub people the wrong way because they tend to take it personally. Trying to avoid disappointing everyone creates emotional captivity. You can't worry about what everyone else is going to think about what's best for you. You become imprisoned by your perception of that. You're constantly curating yourself. You're constantly editing yourself, constantly negotiating your needs. Freedom is something that requires tolerance for misunderstanding. Okay? And that tolerance grows slowly, one boundary at a time, one honest conversation at a time, one uncomfortable no at a time. And releasing guilt is not a single decision. It's something that has to be repeated. It's repetition. It's constantly reminding yourself, hey, listen, I am allowed to rest. I am allowed to change my mind. I am allowed to prioritize peace. I am allowed to protect my energy. Right? Stop over-functioning. I'm allowed to outgrow roles that no longer fit. They no longer serve my purpose. And eventually, something will begin to shift. Okay? You stop asking, will everyone approve? Right? And then you start asking, well, can I live honestly with this decision? That question changes everything, because now your life becomes internally directed instead of externally managed. And that is where freedom begins. So, if choosing yourself feels guilty right now, okay, maybe the guilt is not evidence that you're failing. Maybe it's evidence that the old programming is losing the authority over you. Because choosing yourself does not mean you stop caring. No, it does not. It means you finally included yourself in the care. Right? And that might be one of the most radical things a person can learn, especially in their adulthood, because children don't give a damn. Right? You learn that you are not difficult for having limits. You are not selfish for having needs. You're not wrong for protecting your peace. And no, you do not need permission to stop abandoning yourself. The version of you waiting on the other side of this guilt may be the most authentic version that you've met yet. And honestly, I think that version deserves a chance to exist. So in closing, I just want to say to sit with this, meditate upon it for a second. Realize that your authentic self is waiting for you on the other side. It's waiting for you on the other side of a simple decision, right? A simple decision to choose you, to choose your peace, to say no, it's okay. Some people may not like it because they're so accustomed to having that access, unlimited access to you. But now it's time. It's time to choose yourself because you deserve that. Okay? So that's it for today, guys. Just sit with this for a moment and just reflect on what's happening within you, and be gentle with yourself and have no judgment. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all evolving, and that's okay. And before I go, I would like to ask for your help with the podcast growth by simply liking and subscribing, please, on whatever platform that you're listening to the podcast on. Leave a comment, a like, a share, whatever it may be. It will be greatly appreciated. This tends to help us spread awareness and reach the people who needs to hear it. So thank you so much for your support and love. And I appreciate each and every one of you for listening. And I'll talk to you in the next episode, guys. Stay safe, stay positive, stay healthy. I love you, and namaste. Ciao.
I'm going within today. You're on my mind, I'ma be okay. A little love goes a long way. So I'm going within today. I'm going within today. You're